back to the chaotic little book corner. My name's Acacia. This is like, what is happening? I don't even know. It's like fluff. I don't understand. Today we're going to be doing the classics tag. I've filmed this before. I never posted it, or if I did, I didn't like it. And so I'm going to do it again. And the reason I'm going to do it again, I wasn't tagged by anybody, but KJ Bookworm is a new booktuber. Very, very sweet. Sent me the kindest message. And I wanted to give KJ a little love. And so I'm going to link the channel below for KJ Bookworm. And I'm going to do the classics tag. And we're going to go from there. Now, I am also going to link below my top 5 classics I want to read this year, because that is one of the questions, but I'm also going to add some to my TBR because I've already started to tackle that top 5, and I have tea and it's too hot. So let's just dive right in. The question number one is Question number one is an overhyped classic that you did not like, and that, for me, was Beowulf. I hated Beowulf. I'm not a big, storm the castle kind of girl in terms of my stories. I like the medieval feel in certain aspects, but it's really not my cup of tea. And also the Beowulf version that I read was horribly translated. And I was very devastated by it. So I may read it again in a different translation or in a different in a different format. I'm not sure. But for me, it just did nothing. And I felt really bummed that I had to read it for English class in my junior year. The next question is question 2, favorite time period to read about, and that is World War II, the Holocaust, and then also I've been getting really into Victorian era London. I have a very, very keen interest in times of suffering. Unfortunately, it feels like something I really want to grasp, and I also see so many parallels to the World War II era, and the, shall we say, reign of Hitler, and certain aspects of the political world that are kind of mirroring that. So that's been a love of mine, but I also just really love reading about history in general. So I've been hyper excited to read historical fiction lately, which has been very new to me. I haven't always liked historical fiction, but those are my time periods to read about. And yes, I hope that was right. Fairy tale favorite is question number 3, and that is Sleeping Beauty and Red Riding Hood. I did a Fairy Tale Friday for Sleeping Beauty. I will link it down below. It was a lot of fun, and I'm planning to do another one. I am having so much trouble finding retellings of Little Red. It's ridiculous. And I was hoping to do her for my second Fairy Tale Friday, and now everything just seems to be going wrong. So that second Fairy Tale Friday will be coming up soon, as I can get everything that I need. It's proving harder than not. What classic are you most embarrassed to have not read? That would be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because DID, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, I should be in that world. I should be up on that, but hasn't happened yet. Top 5 classics you would want to read soon. Now, again, I will link below my top 5 classics that I want to read this year, but I'm going to continue with a list. There may be some repeats, there may not be. I don't really remember. That's terrible. So the first one I'm going to mention I know is a repeat, and that is Patrick Süskind's Perfume. I do really love the idea of this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be dark, it's going to be weird, and I think it's definitely a fall read for me. But I'm very excited to get into it. There's a reason I put things on the floor, and it's because there's no space. The other one is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This is more of a modern classic, and I really have a keen interest to read this. I know that 2 of my alters have read it and loved it, but I myself have not read it, and they have just recently approved it as a book I am allowed to read for my psyche, and I'm very excited to do so. So there's that. The next one is We Have Always Lived in a Castle. Now, I have tried this twice now, and it hasn't caught for me. It just hasn't clicked. And so I'm hoping that eventually it will, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. Because it's a short little classic. I'm like, I should be able to do that. This is a chunker. This is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is my Penguin classic, only one that I have in this lovely cloth-bound edition. I very much like it. And I know very little about this, except for there's a little bit of insanity and what's real and what's not kind of questioning. I'm very keen to read this, and potentially around the Halloween time, because it sounds a little spooky. So yes, that's a serious thing. That's 4, and I'm going to cheat and do 1 extra because, you know, I have to. And this is not the 1 extra. This is the vintage red spine edition of Henry James, The Turn of the Screw and Other Stories. And I want to read this terribly because I read The Girl Who Couldn't Read, and I want to read Florence and Giles, and that is the first book of the Girl Who Couldn't Read series, and this is what that is based on. So I need to get to that to start reading so that I can read the one that's based on it. Ta-da. And then last but not least is Villette, and this one I'm going to be getting to next month in September. This is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I'm very excited. Jane Eyre's a favorite. I'm hoping this will be a favorite as well. This is going to be a buddy read I will be doing or a group read, I should say, that I'll be doing in September. And hooray. Now, favorite modern classic book/series based on classics. My favorite book based on a classic, I don't really have one. And, I mean, I could definitely say I really loved Crimson Petal and the White. I did love that a lot. I don't think it's a favorite of mine, though, but I did enjoy it. I definitely have some ones that have some aspects of classics and nods to them that I enjoyed, but I think if you're going to ask me to talk about a retelling of a classic and what I really love, it's going to have to be Wishbone. It's a TV show, and it doesn't exist anymore, and PBS should just have it on their app so that I can watch it all the time, because I would pay to watch Wishbone. Like, I have no problem paying to watch Wishbone daily. I would watch it daily if I could. I love Wishbone. It's my favorite. Favorite version of TV series or movie based on a classic. Now, I didn't count Wishbone here because it's a vast kind of grouping of different classics. The one that I would say is my favorite adaptation of a classic in film form is, of course, the 6-hour-long BBC adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. I do also have a version of Jane Eyre that I really love, and I think it's the 1996 version, and I really do like that one. But the Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth is my fave. Love it, love it, love it. It was like my ultimate sick movie when I was a child. Like, I love it so much. And of course, that means that the worst adaptation, which is question number 8, is Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley. That movie does not exist to me. It is not a good movie. I do not like it. It is not okay. There is no way they would have been kissing in that day and age, like out in public. Like, that's just not a thing. No. Number 9, favorite editions you would like to collect more of. That would be the vintage red spine editions, the Persephones, the cloth-bound modern classics, and also I think I would definitely like to collect more of the Virago modern classics designer edition. So those are them. And then last is number 10, an underhyped classic that you think everyone should read. And that one for me would be The Chrysalids by John Wyndham. I read this in the summer, and I read it for, I believe actually I read it for my BookTube buddy readathon, and I read that readathon with Amanda Center. I'll link a channel below, because I always find a reason to link Amanda's channel below. This is one of the books I read at the time, and this is The Chrysalids by John Wyndham, and it's talking about differences and casting those who are different or deformed out into the outskirts of society. And yeah, this one is not only because it's wonderful and amazing, but also it comes to mind because yesterday I saw a very interesting post on Miss Jen Campbell's Twitter. And for those of you who saw it, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you who didn't, you can look it up if you'd like. But the gist of it was somebody told our dear Jen that science had made her less worthy. And they are wrong. And I don't want to use the word stupid head, but I'm going to. They're a stupid head. I think that The Chrysalids is something that that person should very much read. And, you know, maybe it wouldn't actually change their mind because maybe they're too close-minded to understand, but that's okay. I sometimes am completely flabbergasted by the way that society continually just disses people with disabilities and differences and deformities and takes them and puts them aside as if they're some sort of second-class citizen, because we're not. None of us are. No one is. No one is a second-class citizen. We are all human, and there's no reason to put anyone to the side and act like they're nothing. So, The Chrysalids, it's a kind of good one on that one, and it's only like 150 pages, so somebody with a very low tolerance for reading can also read it. I feel like I just insulted so many people. Probably not good, but I'm going to be honest, I don't really care. Because, if you think that a person with disability or a disorder or a disfigurement is somebody second class, you shouldn't be on my channel. And I'm going to just stand by that. If you think that anything that is different about a human makes them less human, you shouldn't be watching my channel. So, if you agree with me, go read The Chrysalid. So that got weird real quick. I'm gonna end on a note of awkward, apparently. But yes, go check out KP Bookworm if you're still here. Oh my goodness. I didn't mean to get so... I honestly don't mean to get so obnoxious about that whole thing, but the fact is that I'm actually always very offended when I see the sorts of things that people say to other people who really, really should not be put down. You really should not take a person who's already spent their entire life trying to fight to be considered an equal, when they finally get to a point where they have a platform where they can speak about being an equal. Don't shoot them down. It's unnecessary to be rude. It's unnecessary to be unkind. It's unnecessary to tell somebody that they are a lesser human, or to tell them that you support them, but they're still doing the wrong thing by being a lesser human. It's not cool. It's not okay to put anyone down in any format. And, like I said at the beginning, I can see some very, World War II-esque parallels in our day and age, and it scares me. It scares me a lot. It scares me to think that we are at a crossroads between accepting differences and not. And essentially, I think that that is what this election here in the U.S. is going to show us. Are we a accepting, diverse, and kind culture, or are we living in fear of difference? That's a scary thought. I'm going to leave us with that thought because I just got deeper than expected, and I'm going to talk to you guys soon. Bye.